In today's class, we'll be talking about the acronym LAC and how doing or not doing a few things might be holding you or your loved ones back from reaching the things you truly want in life. You ready? Let's do this. Hey, what's going on, my fellow and future millionaires? Welcome to another episode of the Millionaire University podcast, the only school where you graduate rich, not broke, and earn as you learn. Hope you guys are all doing amazing. Things are getting fast and furious here over at Millionaire University HQ. We leave in less than 3 weeks for our 9-month tour around the world. Yesterday, Tara was booking all kinds of flights and Airbnbs. We decided last minute to move some things around because we realized weather in Bali would not be very good in December. So our current plan is Big Island, Oahu, Bali, Australia, New Zealand, French Polynesia. Then we'll head back to San Diego for a few weeks before heading to Europe for a few months. So if you've been to any of those areas and have any pro tips, we would love to hear about it. Also, in just in the nick of time, my man Brian Guerin will be coming aboard next week to help with the growth of the Millionaire University platform. And yesterday, as I was thinking through all the things that we want to accomplish over the next year, it hit me that we're probably going to need or want to bring on at least a couple other people to help us do everything that we want to do. So we'll keep you posted on all the exciting happenings going on here at Millionaire University HQ. And we'll be right alongside you growing our business as we work together to help you grow your business. So in today's episode, I want to talk about something that has really been on my mind a lot lately. And that's essentially why some people succeed in life, specifically financially, but also in other areas in their life, and why some people don't, and how you can be aware of these things for either yourself or your loved ones, so you can easily identify where things might be off, so you can get back on track, so you can get unstuck, so you can change those things. The thing is, I could take 10 people with the same IQ, the same intelligence, take away all their resources and connections and drop them in the exact same city. And half of them have these things that we're going to talk about today and the other half not. And within 3 years, those who do would all be financially wealthy and those who don't would still be struggling. And a couple of days ago, as I was thinking through these things and I was looking at them and happened to notice the letters that they start with, it hit me. And I was like, whoa, hold on. I think we've got an acronym here. So if you lack anything in your life right now, today we are going to talk about why and what you can do about it. Now, really quickly before we dive in, today, just like always, I'm going to try to be super direct and keep it real and not hold any punches. But I want to make it clear that I am not saying that you are 100% at fault or responsible for where you currently are in your life. I mean, the truth is you might be, but I don't care about any of that crap. First of all, we're going to talk today about not being a victim, but in a sense, we are all victims of circumstance. You don't have control over where you're born, how you're raised, the opportunities that you're given or not given, hard, challenging situations that you may have gone through in your life. I fully recognize, appreciate, and see that there are definitely people in this world who have a leg up from birth or based on things that happen or have happened to them in their life. But you or I or anyone, we don't have any control over that. We can't change the past. So let all of that go. What we're talking about today is how you can be the best you and provide the best for yourself, your family, your loved ones, starting now and into the future. Because while comparing ourselves to other people can be good in the sense that it helps us see what's possible, it can also be detrimental if we're constantly feeling like we're not enough because someone else has more or has more opportunities or we can't be like them because of this, that, and the other. Your only goal is to be the best that you can be for you and your family. To do your best to improve your situation in the best of your ability. Okay, disclaimer over. Let's dive into the acronym. LAC. Why most people don't have what they want and what to do about it. The first letter, the L, stands for laziness. Now, before you get offended and turn off the episode, I want to make something clear. First off, once again, I'm not saying this is the reason why everyone who struggles. This is why some people struggle. And I'm not just talking about work ethic here. I'm talking about a mental form of laziness. And the truth is, this is something we all struggle with. Even myself, for example. I mean, if I never got lazy or mentally lazy or just didn't want to do something that I knew would help me, I mean, I would be a billionaire 10 times over. I'd have the most amazing physique ever. I would have all the things I want in life. Even in the book, E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, he talks about the fat guy and the skinny guy and how one day we're super motivated and ready to take on the world. And then we wake up the next day and something happened. We're not quite sure what it is. And then it hits us. Oh no, the fat guy's here. The fat guy's now controlling my life. The one who says, oh, it's fine to eat that cupcake just this one time. Or you don't need to do those tasks today. They can wait till tomorrow. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about laziness. And it happens to all of us. The truth is, everything that you want in life is literally at your fingertips. All the answers, all the resources, everything. In most cases, if you don't yet have it, or even better yet, if you don't have the things you want a few years from now, it really comes down to a form of laziness. You wanted the comforts in your life more than you wanted the results that you'd get from doing the hard things that you need to do to get there. I remember in elementary school one day my dad pointing out the fact that you should never miss a word on a spelling test. And at first I was like, what do you mean? Of course you're going to miss sometimes. It's impossible to not. And then he went on to say, you see, they're literally giving you the answers to the questions ahead of time. And the only reason you wouldn't get 100% every single time is because you literally did not try that hard. Today's business world with the information world that we live in is no different. Not only are you given the exact answers to any kind of business that you could ever dream of starting, but it's also open book and open mentor. Like people will tell you what to do, how to start a business, how they did their business. And then they will be there to answer questions for you along the way. Or you can go to this amazing thing called Google and just look it up, and hundreds or thousands or millions of people will give you the answers. Once again, is it easy? No, it takes time, effort, implementation, getting out of your comfort zone, but ultimately it has absolutely nothing to do with how smart you are, how much money you have, what resources are at your fingertips, or any of that. The next letter in LAC is A, and that stands for accountability. I wasn't sure if it should be action or accountability, so you could kind of consider both because both are essential. But the way I look at it is if you're able to overcome the things that we're going to talk about, you will be taking action. But ultimately, it is action that gets you everything that you want in business and in life. And once again, when I say action, I don't mean running around in circles action, chasing your tail action, but effective action where it counts. Okay, so while we're going down this little rabbit hole of effective action, I'll give you a quick example. One of our primary focuses right now and in the near future is to get sponsorships for the podcast. A few weeks ago, we signed up for a sponsor program through our current host, Megaphone, which is owned by Spotify. Now, this program requires you to give up 50% of the ad revenue, but we figured, hey, if they can take care of all of it and we can just focus on creating great content and growing the podcast, then we're good with that, at least for the time being, and then we can pivot and change that up later on. But after getting approved for and participating in this program, we realized that they really only fill a very small percentage of the available ad spots that you have. So we've continued to do more research on different ways that we can get sponsors, and I've reached out to a couple different podcast networks that we could possibly join who could get those sponsors for us. Maybe we could work with an agency and all different kinds of things that we could do. But as we're taking this action, not only are we constantly getting back information and data, but it also gets the juices in our brain flowing and going, and we start thinking of different things. And for me, as you know, I love running numbers. And a couple days ago, I started thinking about how many sponsors do we need or want at any one given time. And since we had already taken action in these other things, I already knew how many spots we were currently having available, which essentially, depending on the length of the episode, is about 2 spots in the beginning, pre-roll, 2 in the middle, mid-roll, and 2 at the end. Longer episodes, we can fit in a couple other mid-roll advertisements as well. But for the most part, we're looking at about 6 ads per episode. So it kind of hit me that at any given time, all we really need are 6 to maybe 10 sponsors, assuming that we're rotating people in and out. And that caused me to start thinking about all the different people that I knew personally or people that we're currently using to help us run our business. It caused me to think of sponsors that I've heard on other podcasts, caused me to go to some websites of other podcasts who have all their sponsors just listed right there on their website. And I started a spreadsheet including all the people that I could think of, all the people I could find. And then I started taking the right kind of effective action and actually reaching out to these people. By taking this action, it caused me to really think through how to approach them, the things to say. What would they be looking for? What were we looking for? What did we want? The truth is, we don't want to do any sponsorships that are just like a couple $100 here or there. It just isn't worth our time right now in the stage that we're at in business and in life. So I came up with these package deals of anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 and started sending them out to people. But of course, just like anything, this kind of outreach takes time. And while reaching out to the people that we're currently working with and know is easy, it'll most likely take a little more time and research reaching out to some of the people that we don't currently work with. I also realized that we'll probably want to or need to reach out to around 10 to 20 people for every one sponsor we're looking for. Now, I might be way off on these numbers and we'll never know until we try it. But thinking about it in this perspective helps me shift the focus on the actions taken versus the results. Because if you don't get the results you want right away from the initial outreach, you might be disappointed. You might quit and think, oh, this doesn't work. You feel rejection. But if you just look at it as a certain amount of actions that you need to take to possibly get the results that you want, then you just focus on those actions. Then I thought, even though we only need about 10 sponsors at any given time, we're still going to want to constantly be looking for reaching out to connecting with possible sponsors. And at first I was thinking, oh, Brian can help us with this. But then I thought about Brian and the different things that he'll be focusing on, what his strengths are. And I don't want this to take up all of his time. So it occurred to me that, we need to hire someone to do this for us. At the same time, we've been working on promoting the Millionaire University podcast and the Millionaire University platform and reaching out to different podcast players and seeing how we can work together, whether we pay them to promote our show or we come up with some kind of collaboration. In regards to collaboration, we also want to continue to collaborate with other content creators, influencers, business owners. So bringing someone on who can do all of this outreach and initial, at least, communication and follow up with potential sponsors and collaborators is an obvious, key, logical next step for us. So while in the interim, we will continue to reach out to potential sponsors and collaborators, one of our main objectives over the next week will be to find, bring on, and train this new person, which, as we've talked about in the past, will be a huge leverage point for us. Because essentially, they will be doing a task that does not take very long to train, but takes a lot of time to do. And there are a lot of people that can do a task like this, so the cost won't be too much. And while there will be an upfront investment, I was running the numbers on going this route versus paying someone 30 to 50% of total ad revenue generated. And although this path will take a little more time and cost a little more money up front, it'll be much more profitable in the long run. And we'll have someone who can help us with outreach for future collaborations. Thinking of bringing this person on and Brian starting next week caused me to think of other things we can do and where we want to have Brian focus, and caused me to go through the list of all the things that I had sent him previously that at some point we want to get dialed in on. Creating more and better blog post type content, growing our email list, improving our content and growing our reach on social media. And my mind started to go more to not can, but how can we do more of these things and who can we have do them? Okay, so I went down a major rabbit hole there, but my point is all of this is from taking effective action. You want to have your vision and then you want to start doing the steps to get towards that vision. If I didn't reach out to sponsors for the show, I wouldn't have thought through how we can work with them. And I wouldn't have realized, I need someone to help with this. Learning, listening, thinking, planning, visioning, those are all great things, but without effective action and actually getting out in the trenches, whether that means you doing it or partnering or hiring with or bringing on someone else to help you with it, it's really worth as much as the paper that it's written on. And unless you're using dollar bills for paper, it's not that much. Okay, but back to our LAC acronym. We talked about laziness, and then we talked about action taking for the A, but the A also represents accountability. One of the biggest reasons we see people struggle in their business and in life is lack of accountability. It's like if they have a job, they'll go to that job and do the thing that they need to do because they're accountable to someone else. They don't want to get fired or lose their job, but they struggle with being accountable to themselves. So how do you overcome this? Number one, just being aware is huge. Sometimes you got to think about your business or your entrepreneurial journey as a job. Now, I know that might not sound very exciting or sexy. I mean, the whole reason why you're doing this is because you don't want to have a job, right? But the thing is, if you're not willing and able to listen to yourself, aka the new boss, then you're going to have to go work for another boss. I was talking to someone the other day about their current job, and we realized they have made their boss or their company literally millions and millions of dollars in annual recurring revenue, which honestly I think is great because that means that's the opportunity that you have afforded to you as well, and I have afforded to me. But in order to go out on their own, this person will need to be accountable to themselves. Now, if you recall in episode 16, I interviewed my brother Derek, and he was talking about once you start taking action, you then become accountable to the things or people you are now focused on or who you are now working with due to the actions that you took. For example, he had a developer that he was now working with that would reach out to him and ask questions, and they would go back and forth. So that accountability gets easier as you go on because you start to see the results and you're working with people and you have a better idea of the things that you want to and need to do each day. If you have clients or customers you're working with, you're naturally accountable to them. But it all starts with taking action like we talked about and getting these things in motion. Other things you can do for accountability is join different networking, business, or accountability groups. Get an accountability partner. This could literally be anyone that you know that you think would be a good potential accountability partner, or anyone you know that's interested in business, and you can basically commit to each other or even tell each other the things that you want to do that you plan on doing. And you can keep a list, and then the next time you talk, you can ask each other, did you do those things? The C in LAC stands for consistency and courage. You could say that again. Courage. This kind of goes along with accountability, but the truth is most people who don't succeed at the level that they want, they just plain flat out aren't that consistent in taking the actions that you need to take to get the results that you're looking for. I could easily sit down with anyone out there listening right now, and within a few minutes, we can come up with something that if you do these items for the next year consistently, you will become incredibly successful. And if you do them for 3 years to 5 years, you will be incredibly wealthy. But very, very few people would do that consistently. A lot of them would start out, but most of them would not consistently do it. Success does not come from how smart you are, what you know, or a big change the world idea. Success comes from taking small but effective actions consistently over a long period of time. Now, once again, that might be you in the trenches doing the thing that you got to do day in and day out, or that might be consistently waking up each and every day and thinking of what is the 1 to 2 things that I need to do today to continue to build my business and move the needle forward. Now, I'm not talking about the hustle or work till your eyes bleed and never take a break or a vacation or spend time with your family. No, do all those things. And if you fall off the bandwagon for a day, get back on. But consistent, persistent, day in and day out. Not a lot of hype, just doing your thing. That's what will get you where you want to go. Now, the other C is courage. Because the opposite of courage is fear, or I should say courage is still doing the hard things in the presence of fear. I would say fear or different forms of fear is the number one thing that holds people back from reaching their dreams and goals in life. Most people prefer to sit idle and do nothing than to face the possibility of the feeling they may get if they don't get the exact result they were looking for in the exact way they were hoping. Fear manifests itself in a few different ways. The first and probably biggest is the fear of what others will think of you. What will they think of you for going after your dreams? What will they think of you if you don't succeed right out of the gate? After all, no one cares about or asks you how you did in a race that you never ran. As you may know, I recently went to Michigan with my son Brogan to attend and participate in a freestyle trampoline competition. Last night we were at a church beach activity with some friends and somebody asked Brogan how it went. Well, I was really excited about going to this event, but I got hurt the first day, literally within the first 30 minutes. And so he wasn't actually even able to participate in the competition. Now, this is something that Brogan has been training for and working towards for years. The event itself may be more for about a year since he's known about it, but he's been training really hard for this event, and it may be his first and last and only time that he's able to participate in this event. And he was there with the nation's top freestyle trampolinists and friends and people that he had met online, some that he had never even met in person, and it was a really big bummer. But he told her, he said, I was really bummed that I got hurt, but I still had a good time and it was still great to be able to talk to everyone. And he said, but when I got back, I had to take a week off because of this injury. And my first time back to the trampoline park, I not only did, but surpassed the goal that I had of the tricks that I wanted to be able to accomplish at this event. I got revenge, he said, as they refer to it in this community when they get injured or something doesn't go perfectly. And this woman just looked at him and she was so blown away by his perspective. And I've kind of heard or seen him have to repeat this story or get to repeat this story multiple times to multiple people who ask him. And it just makes me so proud as a father. I don't really care what my kids or what you guys or anyone necessarily accomplishes. It's about putting yourself out there. It's about having the courage to, in spite of the fear and the unknown, the uncertainty, to still move forward. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be no one. If you put yourself out there, you are going to fail. You are going to get criticism. There are going to be people who don't agree with you. But the truth is, all that really matters is what you think of yourself. Now, we could go on and talk about fear for a really long time. People have the fear of financial loss, but we've talked about that in previous episodes. You don't have to spend or risk a bunch or any money to make money in business. And there's so many ways to mitigate any loss at all. And the truth is, you never really lose your time because you're always learning. There really is no such thing as failure. The only true failure is sitting on the sidelines, sitting idle, not going after your dreams. Not doing the things that you know you can do and that you were put on earth to do. Once again, not getting or achieving or accomplishing the exact thing in the exact amount of time that you hoped or wanted to, that's totally fine. It's the not trying. It's the giving into the fear. It's not having the courage to move forward in spite of the fear. That's the only true failure. Brogan not doing something that he loves or entering a competition that he wanted to participate in because he was afraid of what people would think about him if he didn't do amazingly, that would be the failure. Not the fact that things didn't go exactly according to plan. And the other fear that people struggle with is the fear of change, fear of uncertainty, fear of the unknown. And the way I look at that is if you keep doing the same things, then you're going to get the same result. So fear missing an opportunity way more than you should fear failure. Because without change, without taking risks, without putting yourself out there, without taking action, you have no shot of reaching your goals and dreams. So just go for it because literally you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Failure is impossible. When you're putting yourself out there, you're taking risks, you're taking action, and you're going for your dreams. Now, this last letter I actually added at the end because LAC, I was like, LACK, what can the K be? And we've already talked about this, but I do feel like it does deserve a letter of its own. So it's absolutely fate that there's a K in the word lack. The K stands for knowledge. And here's the thing, as we mentioned previously, knowledge in and of itself is not going to get you very far. But the application of knowledge will. And this serves as an opportunity to remind you and emphasize that we currently live in the information age. There are no excuses. All the knowledge you need is right at your fingertips. Yes, maybe there was a time and an age when that knowledge wasn't there and people had less control over their situation. But if there is ever anything that you feel like you need to know to achieve the success that you want, you can learn it, or you can tap into the knowledge of other people to do that thing for you. I've kind of indirectly mentioned this a couple times, but last week I was talking to someone who has made several $1 million in sales in annual occurring revenue for this certain software company. They've worked there for years and they have the knowledge of how to sell this product. They also have a knowledge of any holes or gaps in this product and things that customers have asked for and asked about over the years. What they don't have is the knowledge of how to build these tools. Now, as you probably know by now, I am not slow to spot a huge opportunity. That's a knowledge that I've gained over the years. Tara just dumped a bunch of crap on my floor. That's what you call a pattern interrupt? Tara?
Laundry.
Okay, she's doing my dirty laundry. All right, she's excused. Okay, back on track. So something that doesn't make sense is for this individual to go and figure out the knowledge of how to build this tool himself. He can and should just tap into the knowledge of someone else who knows how to develop that tool for him, since it would take him a pretty long time to learn that. So we hopped on a call with Trey, who's my partner in our review automation software, 5 Oak. He talked to Trey about some of his ideas. Trey gave him a few ideas. Trey let us know it probably costs somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 to create an MVP, a minimum viable product for this software tool. And then I use the knowledge I have to think about the returns here. And I told this person, hey, I'll pay for the software and I'll invest in you. I'm essentially willing to put up to $200,000 in helping build this product and paying you a salary to sell this product and cover a few additional initial costs, essentially seed capital to help this product/business get off the ground that can and should make us all a ton of money. Okay, I got a little sidetracked with that point, but the point I'm making is knowledge. You can and should learn anything that you need to learn to be successful. Learn the things that you need to know, but in a lot of instances, it's a lot better, a lot easier, makes a lot more sense to tap into the knowledge of others. So in review, the reason why you or anyone you know is currently not reaching their goals or is lacking anything that they want in life, either now or in the future, is L, laziness, A, action and accountability, C, commitment and courage, or K, knowledge. Now, the coolest thing about all of these things is none of them have to do with you as a person or your circumstance, which on one hand is hard because it gives you no one or nothing to blame or to point the finger at. But on the other hand is a beautiful, amazing thing because it gives you all the power for change, the power to accomplish and have the things you want in life. And also, don't beat yourself up over these things. That's just another excuse. Blaming yourself is still blaming another thing or situation. Love yourself. Be good to yourself. Believe in yourself. But don't just believe, implement, take action, because that's really what counts. And know that these are all things that we all struggle with to varying degrees. Once again, if it wasn't for these things, I would be a billionaire 10 times over and have absolutely everything I want in life. So it's very natural to struggle with these things, but to the degree that we can overcome them is directly associated to the degree at which we are able to accomplish and get the things that we truly want out of life. And that, my friends and fellow and future millionaires, brings us to the end of today's lesson. We've got some exciting things ahead for you here at Millionaire University. So if you have yet to do so, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening now. If you like this episode, please share with a friend. And if you have yet to get the Millionaire University free business training, go to millionaireuniversity.com/training. If all goes according to plan, Brian Guerin will be doing the next interview. So it'll be awesome to hear from him and his guest. Truth is, I have no idea how it's going to go. He might hit it out of the park and he might whiff. But we're going for it because that's what we do here at MU. We change things up. We take risks. We put ourselves out there and keep pushing for growth. Because why not? You got one great, incredible, amazing life to live. So why not make the best of it? How will you put yourself out there this week? What's the risk you're going to take? What's the effective but maybe scary action that you're going to take. We'd love to hear about it. Let us know. support@millionaireuniversity.com, and we'll help hold you to it. So can't wait to hear what that thing is, and we will see you all in class next time on the Millionaire University podcast. But until then, class is dismissed.